Conversations for Self. My name is Simona, and here is where I share my personal experience with healing heartbreak and emotional trauma. Along my healing journey, there was a theme and a topic that popped up quite frequently, and that was the theme and the topic of narcissists and narcissistic abuse. And this was something that I definitely resonated with, and it is something that I felt that I had come in contact with several times in my life, and had actually been in relationship with a few times in my life. The narcissist information is definitely out there for everyone to research, to read, to watch videos about, to listen to podcasts about. So there is quite a lot of information out there, whether it be the overt narcissist who is grandiose and obviously self-serving, or whether it is the covert narcissist who hides behind a veil of goodwill and altruism that is not really genuine. It's something that they have learned that gets them further, and it also hides who they really don't want the world to see them as. So there are different levels to a narcissist, and of course, as I said here, I definitely recognize that I had come in contact with quite a few. So in my healing journey, part of there is the denial and there is the disconnect. So for a while there was the disconnect of justifying the treatment that I had received and justifying what would possess a person to treat me so terribly and to have such just ill intent and ill will towards me, when there's really nothing about me that says that I deserve being treated terribly, and I deserve being heartbroken and hurt. At some point in time, I had to come to the realization that being able to put a label on someone else was not going to help me. I'm feeling that putting a label on someone else will justify. It will give justification for the treatment. It will give justification for why I was there, why I stayed, why I allowed it. It would justify everything terrible that had happened between me and whomever it was. But at some point in time, I really had to look at myself and ask, what difference would it make for me that this person has a title or has a label or has a this associative identity, whatever you want to call it, problem? What would that benefit me? Would it heal my heart? Would it prevent me from being in yet another emotionally, mentally abusive relationship? Would it help me to move along? And I really had to look at myself and give a resounding no. Because whether the person that that I'm involved with is a narcissist or not, I have to look at the treatment that I received. I have to look at how I felt with that person. And it was bad treatment, narcissist, or just a terrible, not terrible, but emotionally unavailable person. I had to look at what difference would it make me? What difference would it make me Would me being able to give them a label make them all of a sudden behave the way that I needed them to behave, or treat me the way that I needed to be treated? And again, the answer is no. So in that moment, I stopped allowing myself to use the information as justification. I use the information as education so that I could keep my eyes open for anyone else that may come in my life with these characteristics. However, giving them a label was not going to help me. It was not. It was not. Were they hurtful? Yes. And again, this has been several occasions throughout my life, and I am sure that that you're resonating with this because it has been your experience as well. Because I'm a giver. I have empathy as my core trait, and it is naturally for me to give. And of course, before my healing, it was nothing for me to give to my utter detriment, as long as the other person was happy. Again, and that was very, very unhealthy. It was unhealthy to give, and it was very unhealthy to put someone else's happiness above and beyond my own. So as you are going through your healing journey, and as you are coping, and as you are coming to grips with just needing to make changes and needing to evaluate self, the conversation for self here is, will that title help me? Will that title benefit me? Will that title help my healing? So that is the conversation, because we can only control ourselves and what we do and how we react and how we respond. That's the only thing we can control. That is the only thing. So in a healing journey, the focus should be taken completely off of the other person, the other people, and placed solely back within self. Again, conversations for self. And these are, again, the most important conversations you're going to have, because it forces you to look at self. It forces you to evaluate self and ultimately heal self. And when you start doing those things, then you will come into a self-love and a self-respect that you just will never, ever be taken from you. And once you come into that true self-love, and once you walk into true emotional healing from heartbreak and trauma, then you will then be able to walk in a different light, and you will be attracted to different things, and you will attract differently. So again, as I always say in my videos, true self-love and emotional healing are both necessary for a happy, successful, content life.